The following podcast is taken from a live broadcast on Inspire FM.
Ya hala, ya hala, ya hala, ya hala, ya hala.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sisters Speak. This is a pre-recorded show. It is not live, but you can always get in touch with us with your thoughts and ideas on @SistersSpeak on Instagram if you have anything that you'd like to share. But yeah, today's show will be about reflecting on our relationship with Allah and also just a little bit about Ramadan as well. With me today here in the studio we have...
It's me, Fareen. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum guys, it's me, Aliza.
Hey, Islam everyone, it's Nuria.
Yeah, and then obviously me, Sonia. So it's quite nice. We have 4 people joined with us today. Before we begin, Nuria, would you like to tell everyone what our show is about?
So, our show is about being a platform for Muslim girls to voice their own opinions on current events and issues and form really important discussions on general topics such as religion, culture, politics, social media, Islamophobia, just to name a few. Please do know all of our opinions and views are our own, and we respect all other or opposing / similar views and opinions.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. And what I'm going to do is jump straight into the Thought of the Week segment now. And we're going to start with Aliza.
So my thought of the week, I would say be grateful for your health, because I was really ill for like 2 weeks and I think I had COVID. I'm not too sure, because obviously you can't really get tests and I'm not paying for a test in this day and age. We're 2023 now.
Cost of living crisis.
Cost of living crisis. I'm going to pay for a COVID test. No, thank you. And they treat it like a common cold anyway.
Yeah,
so what's
the government ruling is that you can still go to work or whatever you like.
Yeah, 100%.
It just depends how you feel personally.
Yeah. So
you were really unwell then?
Yeah, I took days off work. I wasn't here for like
we missed you, Aliza.
Missed you guys too.
We're glad you're here and better now.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. My voice is still not recovered 100%, but we're getting there. Yeah. So I just think being grateful for your health is such a big thing, because it puts such a strain on your life.
Yeah.
You can't go to work, you can't do Sisters Speak, you can't do stuff at home. And it just kind of piles up, and you just kind of, when you do get better, you've got so much to do because you couldn't do it before.
Yeah, I agree. And I absolutely understand, because, you know, little things like breathing through your nose, 100%. We take that for granted so much.
Having a blocked nose is the worst.
One of the worst.
Being congested and stuffy. Absolutely hate that. It's just awful.
I get those feelings as well during summer when it's hay fever period. So
same.
Suddenly your eyes are watering and you don't remember what it felt like to not have watery eyes, basically.
And what causes that? Plants.
The plants are beating us up, guys.
I'm literally allergic to a tree. Like, what is that?
It is ridiculous, but a lot of us have hay fever, including me.
I get hay fever too.
Do you actually?
My eyes get so red and itchy. Literally, like, especially through Ramadan when you're fasting.
And there's nothing much you can do.
Fever, you just gotta ride it out.
I think I'm the only one without hay fever here. I love the pollen.
You're lucky, Fareen.
You love pollen. Yeah.
Pollen loves her.
Girl, please.
Coincidentally.
I'm so comfortable with it.
Oh, Eliza, you're so funny. But yeah, so but on the Thought of the Week that you mentioned, that was a really good one. I think being grateful for our health, as we've all just mentioned, we've been through so many like ordeals when it comes to these health.
And I feel like since COVID, we've been out in the wild again. Why am I ill like 4 times a week? Like, why am I so ill?
You know what? A lot of people in my workplace and even in my family, they get ill quite often now. Yeah. But I'm not sure what that is, if that's weak immune system or...
I think it's because coming out of COVID, because we were all so sheltered for so long. Now that we're all mixing in and everything together, it's like we're getting used to everything again.
I think that could be a reason.
Could be.
You're thrown into the wild. It's germs, you know.
Yeah.
Germy environment.
Germy kids.
We love kids still. Do you have a teacher? Do you like a teacher? Do you go by your last name or what is it then?
Miss Arshad.
Lovely. Shout out to Miss Arshad. She's on our show today. But yeah, we're coming back to that, another show, 100%. Yeah. And Nuria, I'd like to go to you now for your Thought of the Week, please.
My Thought of the Week is appreciating my sibling. I only have like one younger sister, and we've had our rocky times, we've had our ups and downs, but I feel like it's so important to have a good relationship with your sibling, because they're actually really there to fight your corner. Like, she is my rock. don't get me wrong, we've had our arguments. We've had our catty fights over the little things. But I feel like as you grow older, you kind of become more in a wavelength with each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I also have a sister. Does anyone else here have a sister?
I have a sister.
We all have one.
Oh, wow, okay.
Do you have a younger sister?
I have one younger sister, two older sisters. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You're lucky.
Girl
You've got
family.
older sisters.
You got no brothers?
No.
I've got 2 brothers as well.
But we won't dive too deep into that because I don't want to offend anyone. But just on the sisters thing, I kind of agree with you because like one of my sisters, she just had her birthday as well. So we were looking at gifts and there was like this almost cheesy one. And it was like, our sister, like when there's no one else there, you're still there for me. And I was like, oh, it's cheesy but cute and kind of true as well.
Remember, isn't
like,
it?
you know, whatever you go through in life, your family's always going to be by your
100%.
side.
Yeah,
And I even think of like family holidays that we might have gone to or going to another country and so on. It's that sister bond that you have that you guys went together. You'll have those memories together as well. But yeah, that's cute and random. Did it come from anywhere? Or...
to be very honest with you guys, I forgot my previous thought of the week.
But I think that's nice for your...
This in my head. But to be fair, I have been appreciating my sister a lot more recently. She was probably listening to this right now. Don't get too excited. But I have been trying to actively show my appreciation more for her because she's going off to uni. So.
Oh, is she younger than you then?
Yeah,
Is she moving out?
Yeah, she's moving out. So I'm
Oh no.
It's like a new chapter in her life that I feel like I'm also going on with her as well.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But yeah, I resonate with the sister one. I think most of us here do because we all have sisters, as we mentioned, and it's a different kind of bond.
It is,
you know,
100%.
I could do a 40-minute show on the bond with sisters.
It's because there's no barrier in between. You know, when someone gives a friend, they give you like a gift or something, and they're like, oh yeah, I like it so much, but they don't like it. With siblings, they'll just say it in your
I
face.
hate this
100%.
Yeah.
Where's the receipt right now?
Yeah, I agree. And not just with gifts, like we said, but with everything.
With everything, yeah.
They're going to be as honest and brutal with you as you are going to be with them as well.
100%.
You can rely on your family for that.
And I feel like you can like tell them there's no filter in what you can say.
And they know the real you. Let's put it into that.
100%. Like, you
Only
know,
your family know the real you.
so me and my sister, so where I work, my sister goes there as a student.
Oh wow.
She sees a different side of me at work.
She sees the work you.
And then she also sees me, my normal self at home. And she said to me, like, she was like, the way you act at work is disgusting. And I said to her, what do you mean? She was like, you're just so different. And I was like, obviously, I'm not going to be like
professional.
I have to be professional with all the other people I work with.
It's funny because me and my sister actually work together.
Wow.
What's
We
it like
do.
working together?
So it was really weird at first. Like seriously, it was like, how are we in the same place doing professional work? Like professional, like you mentioned.
100%.
But I was a bit funny because she used to do things like, you know, like on emails and Google Sheets, whatever. And I was like, you know how to do that? And she was like, yes. And just every now and then I was like, oh my God, you know how to like convert Word and PDF? And she's like, what do you think I do? I was like, I'm sorry, I never see this side at you. Like at home, we never have to do office work at home.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it is fun. It's definitely fun. At first, there was a lot of like bickering, I would say, because naturally you carry that from home to work. But now we've separated the two.
Do you commute together?
No, we don't. But only because we don't live together anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, she's married, so she lives elsewhere. But yeah, but great thought of the week. I think that got us all thinking. Thank you for that, Nuria. Fareen, it's now time for your thought of the week.
Okay, my thought of the week is about trust, because I think in every environment, I think there's always a bit of trust, even if, obviously not with a stranger, but, you know, with friends, with siblings, in a professional environment, there's trust everywhere. And I think, as I said before, it's really cliche to say, but it does take so long to build that trust and kind of come together with that person and seeing them as, you know, they are someone that's really close to me in the real, and there's one little thing that they'll do and then that trust is completely broken off, and it doesn't matter how much you try to rebuild that trust, that thing is always going to be in the back of your head that they did this, they did that. So I think that with trust, when it's a really, really close relationship, it really hurts, but I think it's a way of showing like the kind of the life lesson that you get from not everyone is a real one or everyone was a close one.
Yeah, that's a really deep thought of the week.
It is really
actually.
deep.
And I just want to dive a bit deeper into that.
That's okay.
Are you talking about like trust with friendships by any chance?
Yes, I'm talking trust with friendships. Obviously, I feel like because my sister and my siblings were really close, then there's always going to be trust there. And I really trust them, and I don't think they're my siblings, they're my blood, you know?
Yeah.
They're not going to do anything to hurt me. But with friends, because they're not blood, there's really never going to be that
so it's
much
like
trust.
they're not obliged to trust you, if that makes sense.
So
it's
they
like
can
you have
do
to actually
anything.
build it from scratch. Yes, yeah, okay.
And then when they do the one thing, there's just, it completely throws you off and you just...
Oh, wow. Was it Eliza, did you want to say something?
Yeah, so you can know friends for such a long time, but one thing, like you just mentioned, Fareen, can like break your trust in an instant.
Oh,
I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, like from personal experience, I can see that like even though you're friends and you might think, yeah, we're such good friends, we'll be friends for so long, stuff can happen that you just think, oh, I didn't know that was you. Like, I didn't think you would do that to me, and if that makes sense.
I think it always hurts more when it's someone you're close to.
Yeah,
so like
100%.
your enemy can't break your trust,
Yeah,
right?
100%. Yeah, exactly.
You don't have that
Because you don't.
expectation, and you don't. Obviously, you're not going to love your enemy the same way you love your mate.
Exactly.
It's like, but do you guys think that with friendships you can give people second chances, or do you feel like that's something
that's the question I was going to get into as well. Like, if you were really, really close to them, same as you would be with your family, you might think, okay, let's work through this together.
Yeah.
Like we've had this trust break, or is it sometimes no, it's too far?
You know, the thing is that when they do it, if they tell you themselves that they did something, then I feel like I could give a second chance. But if you find out from third party and they acting like they didn't do anything, then I don't think there's a chance that I would give them a second chance. That's just my personal opinion. I think obviously people can change and people can be sorry, but one of the persons that always holds a grudge. Yeah. So I don't think. It really depends on how close and the person.
I think I just want to touch, before Eliza will get to you, because you mentioned grudge. I don't even want to use that word necessarily, because I see what you're trying to say, but grudge has negative connotations. It's not necessarily grudge, but it's like, I feel like me and you have broken this relationship. I'm not going to, it's not going to get better. Or if it is, I'm going to have that in my mind.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I'm not going to try, and I can be civil with you maybe, but let's not try and make a friendship because I know that thing exists.
Yeah.
And I think 100%. We can say that without saying grudge, because
I think that's more of a boundary.
Yeah, like, that's a good word.
That's more of like a boundary, and kind of sometimes a mutual understanding. Like if you feel like you've tried, if you feel like you've both tried, even,
or if you feel like I don't want to try because that's something that's really big for me, it's my boundary. Like you said, that's a boundary that I'd never wanted to get crossed. So Eliza, you were going to say something on the back of Fareen's point.
Oh yeah, I think it depends on the situation and what happened, like between you guys, for you guys to stop speaking and not be friends. I think certain situations, like when people disrespect you, I can never ever do that. I'm so sorry. Like I'm like you. You have to put a boundary up, because if you let people cross that boundary and take advantage of you, then you're no better than like what you guys were before. There was nothing was learnt from that. But I think if it was a very minor situation, and I think when you're a bit younger, you can get into like very childish disputes and stuff. And I think when you see like this person's grown so much and you've grown as well, you could put that behind.
Yeah. But do you think it's good then to take a break almost? Like, okay, there's a lot happening right now. I don't know how I feel about you. Let's take this breather. If we're meant to be friends, we'll be friends again
100%.
in like 2 months or something.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Great thought of the week. Thank you. Very interesting. I feel like everyone's given such good, rich thought of the week.
100%. It's been probably a very intense week.
I think it's an intense week.
Definitely.
Oh wow. Okay, so now on to me. Mine would be it's about like new beginnings ish. So it's relating to work. So at work we have like 3 new starters, I think, and loads of new things coming into place, and rules and changes and so on. And I think a lot of people are already apprehensive before it's even happened. Like, when you hear something's going to change, you get so scared and nervous and worried. But it's like, be open to change, and it actually might be good. But even if it's not good, if you're open, you're more likely to adapt and figure out how to navigate that change. Whereas if you're already putting up walls and barriers and being defensive and worried, you're not gonna. It's almost like a wave. Like you're not gonna ride the wave. You're just gonna drown. Wow, what a weird analogy. I never expected that. But in my head, I could see it. Like, you know, this huge thing's coming. You need to try and adapt to it rather than literally, like I said, drown. So yeah, that's my thought of the week. Is kind of just touching on like, if there is change happening or you can see it coming, try not to be so scared. Just be open to, like, you know, adapting and seeing how it goes.
I love how people say as a skill. You know, in my CV, I wrote I can adapt to change
situation,
and I can get out of my comfort zone. And I love how it's a skill because so many people are so scared to do it. They might just leave. They might not do it.
Yeah, I mean, that word leave has come about a few times in my last week. Not for me personally, but I've heard it. You know, people get so scared of change. They're just like, goodbye, shut the door.
It's the fear, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's just mainly because we're driven by our instincts. Like, as humans, we're driven by our instincts. And I think when you hear change, or like, even when you're going through it, it's that fear, like, oh my god, I don't know what's gonna come. But
fear of the unknown.
Yeah, one thing I learned at work is fear is false evidence appearing real.
Say it again.
Wow.
So fear, kind of think of it like an acronym: false evidence appearing real. So you can't predict the future. You don't even know what's going to happen to call it evidence. And like Sonia
that's a really good acronym.
You?
We're going to bring it up again on the show, I think.
Yeah,
so
I
false evidence. So the evidence is not real. False evidence appearing real, appearing to be real. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's what fear is. We need to come back on that one. I like that.
That's really good.
Yeah. That's nice.
Shout out to whoever came up with that.
Really good one. Thank you guys, and thank you all for the thought of the week. I think we'll wrap that up now. We're going to move on to our hot topic, which is about healthy eating. So we're just going to talk about some habits that we already have. Obviously, while this show is on air, it will be during Ramadan, so we can maybe try and link it to that. So guys, in general, during Ramadan, does anyone, just be honest, do you guys try to be healthy?
No.
Oh gosh.
No, sorry. I think we're so hungry during the day that we're just thinking of food.
Yeah, like, and when there's pakoras and samosas and biryani and tiramisu, like the Lotus Biscoff one that's on TikTok, when all of that is being made, why am I going to eat an apple? Do you know what I mean?
Listen, I'll be real, the desserts are my weak point too.
Yeah.
I will try my hardest, like, let me just have some fruit, have some dates, eat healthy, but when it comes to desserts, I just can't stop.
Yeah, like,
Elisa, I feel you on that one.
like my mum's cheesecake, guys.
Oh, yum.
Like,
We need to try it now.
I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to bring it in
Try
Ramadan.
it. Okay.
We need to have, like,
Sister
I'm putting it
Speak
on the
Ramadan.
radio.
Sister Speak Iftar, guys.
Yes,
We're
yes,
making it
yes,
happen. Details soon.
Yes, literally 100%.
To try Elisa's mum's
cheesecake. And this is, if you're watching this is my shout out to you. You need to start selling them because people come over and they love it. And my mum gives it out every Ramadan to, like,
but
family,
you know what?
and
Right
neighbours.
now, it tastes amazing because she's making it with that love.
Yeah.
Whereas when you
100%.
monetize it, that love might disappear. So
Good point.
You know what, Elisa's mum, just make it for us. Don't worry about anyone else, okay?
No, but I think you guys would really like it. And just, I can't shy away because she makes it a lot in Ramadan. Obviously,
You got to treat yourself.
got to treat ourselves. We're fasting the whole day. So it's just...
Oh, Elisa, you're so funny. But yeah, so you actually make me lose my train of thought. While
I'm so sorry about
it's
that.
fine, it's good. So I'll be honest, guys. I do, maybe because I'm the eldest here, which makes me sick, but I do try to be healthy. Thank you. And I put healthy in quotation marks, healthy during Ramadan, just because I feel like it's so easy to get it wrong during Ramadan, because then you're fasting the whole day, and if you can feel that oil burning inside you, or that, you know, carb bloatedness inside you, or the dryness because you didn't have enough water while you're eating all the samosas, that's not a nice feeling. That is not a nice feeling.
You feel heavy.
Exactly.
Your body, and even sometimes your mind feels heavy because obviously what we eat has an impact on my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, on our mind.
It does, yeah.
And Asian food is not the healthiest.
No,
It's
let's
not.
be real. There's like 3 gallons of oil in one biryani.
So do you guys feel like, knowing all of this, anyone would try to just try some days have like some healthy-esque iftars?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We should, I think, because we all have different, obviously, iftar times. So I do it in my mosque when I go Ramadan. So there's always a lot of options. You obviously don't pick the healthiest one, but a dessert in iftar is not really a big thing in my house. We never have dessert. So, what we do, because my dad, he's diabetic, so he has to be really careful in Ramadan.
Okay, yeah.
He tries to fast. Obviously, he's not obliged to.
Yeah.
But have one piece of fruit. And I was talking about this with my friend today, actually, about Ramadan. She was like, "Are you ready for Ramadan? What are you gonna do?" So I said, "I'm doing intermittent fasting now." I don't know if.
Oh, that is a.
Oh, yes.
Would you like to just explain to everyone what it means? Okay, I think I know what it means. I think you correct me if I'm wrong. So intermittent fasting is when you only eat during a certain period of time. So usually people pick like 11 a.m. to like 7 p.m. I would say, and you don't eat anything else outside. Yeah. But obviously you can have water. This ain't Ramadan, but yeah. So you are doing that right now. You're saying
yes. It's I'm not doing it as like I'm gonna intermittent fast today. I just do it because I get so busy that I forget to eat.
Okay.
So I just think of it, I'm getting used to Ramadan. I don't do it during these days in the week that I'm so busy that I don't even feel like eating. So that's the days I count as, this is intermittent fasting.
Make a decision. Oh yeah, I'm intermittent fasting.
Yes,
I was trying to do that all along. Yeah. Okay. I think that's actually really good because especially now when we're opening our fast, it will be around 7-ish anyway. Well, I think so.
And then it's gonna jump.
I know, but we've done the worst. We've done the worst, but the hardest, the most difficult.
The sunny days, we were in like year 10.
Yeah, I was in school. I know it's hard to believe. She's laughing.
No,
like,
don't think you're old. You're not old. You're not
but
old.
I also remember being in school during the summer Ramadan.
And it's like 30 degrees.
Yeah, it was really, really hot.
And it's June and it's the longest day of the year. And it's like...
we could do that, guys.
Yeah, we can do that. These ones are a piece of cake.
Yeah, inshallah.
Honestly, inshallah.
But yeah, under intermittent fasting, I think something to note here is obviously not eating past 7 p.m. I think in general that's a really good thing. But again, with Ramadan, that's when you open your fast. So I think we shouldn't really, we'll try not to stuff ourselves from 7 a.m. to suhoor or sahri time. Yeah. So what do you guys usually have for sahri?
Normally I just have like dates, fruit, porridge, stuff like that. Just light stuff.
See, this is good. This is
Weetabix.
Yeah, after you guys spoke about samosas for half an hour, this gives me hope.
Because sahri is where you can eat healthy.
Exactly.
Iftar is where you can just pug out. Sorry.
What do you have?
For sahri, I always have what do you call it, like paratha, so it's like a type of bread. It's a type of bread. It has a bit of oil. It's a bit unhealthy, but it's really good because it really fills you up.
100%, and it releases energy slow.
Yeah, so I have that with bread, so it fills up. I never have rice because then rice
it's quite starchy.
It makes you hungry during the day, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so that and a bit of tea, so chai, the normal desi chai that we all know about. And that's literally it, because I'm so sleepy that I don't even think that I have to eat. It's really a chore to eat, especially during sahri time.
But you should. I honestly do believe that people should have sahri or suhoor, wake up and eat something. But everything you guys mentioned, I think, is quite appropriate for that time, especially the cereal, because that gives you energy, slow releasing energy throughout the day. All I would say is please be hydrated. Because I feel like my sister, she loves coffee, so she'll be like, I can have my caffeine shots now and so on. And I'm like, that literally will dehydrate you throughout the day.
Have like a high.
Yeah, well, she loves her caffeine, so. But then, you know what? Because they have caffeine, this is really bad, but the people that love caffeine, they have caffeine withdrawal.
Yeah, it's like...
What does that mean?
So because caffeine is almost like, like you crave it, right? Yeah. So imagine during the day, it's like 1 p.m, you're fasting, they're itching and craving caffeine.
So it's like people who are people who smoke and then they quit smoking, but then it's hard.
So it's hard for them because they're thinking of caffeine throughout the day and they're feeling different because they don't have it. And that's why they try to make up for it when they have obviously sahri in the morning or iftar in the night. But actually, caffeine lovers, please don't go overboard with the caffeine.
100%.
Yeah, it's just not going to be easy, but
just drink water is the healthiest drink you can have,
and it's going to keep you hydrated because that's the most important thing, I think, during Ramadan.
Coconut water is good as well, guys. Like coconut water is really hydrating. I know some people don't like it, but I think it's banging, especially like ice cold coconut water. Elisa's looking at me like,
not a fan.
Like it.
It's just a bit too sweet.
Yeah, fair enough. Some of them are not sweet than others, but
I'm gonna try. I don't usually have. I don't think the last time I had it was probably from a real coconut. Yeah, but I haven't had like store bought ones.
I feel like out of water, if we're talking about flavoured water, the best one is lemon and lime.
Oh, is it the Polvik one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but that just slaps differently. At work, like...
Am I the only one drinking normal water here?
Yeah, I think you are. Oh my God, at work, yeah, they sell like flavoured water with lunch. But it was not nice. I drank one sip and I was like, get in the bin.
So they recently did a show here about, I think it was 2 doctors, and they were talking about healthy eating in Ramadan. I couldn't get to it. I couldn't really listen to it, but I am really hoping and aiming to have a really healthy iftar and help my mom do it, especially for my dad and my siblings as well. And yeah, that's it. So please eat healthy in your iftars.
We'll try. We're all going to consciously try. At least, well, there's 30, inshallah, or 29. So maybe half of the fasts can be that, right? One every other day, or maybe every weekend. Actually, not weekends are for enjoying. Yeah.
When we're working, we can,
But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for the first half of the show. I think it went really well. And please do join us again for the second half. We're going to be reflecting on our relationship with Allah and maybe things about how to improve during Ramadan as well. And
yeah, we're just going to talk about the ways that we connect with God and how we can improve our iman during this holy month. And we're just going to delve into that a little bit. So make sure you join us in the second half.
Yeah, and if you do want to get in touch, as mentioned earlier, we are on Instagram at Sister Speak. Thank you, guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You're listening to an Inspire FM podcast, making available our popular programs from our daily broadcast on Inspire FM.
Ya hala, ya hala, ya hala, ya hala.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Sister Speak, to our second half of the show. So in the first half of the show, we spoke a little bit about our thought of the weeks, and we also spoke about healthy eating during Ramadan. As I mentioned before, this is a pre-recording, so it's not live. You won't be able to get in touch with your thoughts live. But if you do have any thoughts and ideas that you want to share, please do get in touch with us on Instagram. That's at Sister Speak. Before we begin again, I'm just going to let Fareen talk about, touch on what our show is about, please.
Yep, so our show is a platform for Muslim girls to voice their own opinions on current events and issues, and even form discussions on general topics such as religion, culture, politics, social media, Islamophobia, etc. Please note all opinions, views are our own, and we respect all other or opposing similar views and opinions.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, just to reiterate, I'm here in the studio with Fareen. Hello, Fareen.
Hello, it's me.
And Nuria.
Hey, salam everyone.
And lastly,
Assalamu alaikum, guys, it's Eliza.
thank you, Eliza. And myself, Sonia.
So before we get into our main topic, I just wanted to say that we are on socials. So if you want to get in contact with us, let us know your thoughts or any topics that you want us to do on the show, you can let us know via Instagram at Sister Speak. And we are also starting a hashtag on Twitter called Thought of the Week. So if you do have a thought of the week, we will be reading them out loud during the live. So do get in touch with us.
That's amazing. Thank you. Did you say Twitter?
Yes.
What is our at on Twitter, please?
It's Sister Speak _FM.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And that is kind of news to me, so I'm so glad to hear that.
Yes, it's all on Instagram. So if you don't know how to use Twitter, or if you don't know what you have to exactly write for us to read it, it's all on our little highlights. So it's called Twitter.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, as Fareen said, go on Instagram. All the information is there. Great. Thank you. So we are just going to go into the second half of the show, which is about our main topic. So our main topic is reflecting on our relationship with Allah, ways which we connect with God and improve our iman, and also how to possibly improve our relationship as well. Before, obviously, I'm just going to ask the general question all round. So this is for all of us. Do we feel like we have a good relationship with Allah at the moment? And Fareen, I'd like to go to you first.
Okay, so it really depends on the time. I think that everyone, when we are kind of low, when we were kind of sad, we all go to Allah, but when we're happy, we really forget that, we just think that it's coincidence, but it isn't. So my relationship with God, I think it just changed over the years. I think when I was really young, I didn't really think or kind of connect with him as much as I could have, because I feel like in an environment where I didn't really feel like doing it or really wanted to do it publicly. So I was really away from my iman, and I really put dunya over deen in my younger times when I was, in high school. But now I feel like in an environment that I'm in, and the friends that I'm with, surrounded with such a Muslim big community here in Luton, I feel like my relationship with God has improved a lot, and I have a really good relationship, and I really try every day to get closer to God.
Thank you so much. I want to, just a lot you said this, I want to break that apart. So the first half you mentioned, obviously, when we are maybe upset, going through something, people naturally do turn to God. And I think you're absolutely right there. And we all probably have been in a situation like that. And then when you're happy, sometimes, like you said, you think it's coincidence or luck. I think that's a very good point you made. I think actively recently as well, I've tried to remind myself that it's not. So like small little things like, I don't even know, like maybe a good thing happens at work, or oh yes, I'm so happy, I'm glad that I remembered that, or I did that, or something. I try to remind myself like it is thanks to God, or also this may be a prayer or dua that you prayed for earlier on, or maybe even a year ago. I think sometimes we forget, and it's like, wait, this thing has now come true. Don't forget what you were wishing for and hoping for and praying for a year ago. Yeah.
Just touching upon that, every time there's something important coming, that's when we also remember God. So I'm just going to put myself as an example. So I had a really important test, your driving test, which literally changed your life. So I had that coming up, and the days before I was so anxious, but I didn't really mention it in my prayers. I just forgot. So I just, normal duas, I never did anything, and I did fail that one. But then before so I booked another one, and before that one I prayed, I made so much dua, and I didn't tell anyone about that test. And my mom, before she leaves, she was gonna like, I'm gonna do tasbih before you leave, I'm gonna pray for you, I know you can do it, and then I passed that one. So
yes.
So I was like, yeah. And Mariam, she's also one of our presenters, she said it doesn't matter that you failed, because it was what God, it was God's timing.
Yeah,
100%. And always remember, people who pass on the second test are better drivers than people who pass on their first. And it does add character and personality, because you're not
so just remember every little win. So after that I was like, wow, like it's real, God is there.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think I've been in so many situations like that where I feel like I made this dua and it came true almost, and I'm like, it's so silly to say, but you look back and you're like, why don't I always do that? But it is so true. And I know, I'm glad we can be honest with each other here today. Like, we don't have to pretend about our relationship with God, or if it's strong or if it's weak. Let's just be honest, like you said. But yeah, that was the first part of what you said. And the second bit you kind of touched on, remind me. So it was a very long point you said.
So just to really pray and mention your duas, what you really want. And even if you don't get it, I always say this, but if you don't get it, it's literally for a reason. Yeah. And I think with talking with so many people, I feel like Mariam is such a good person to go to whenever I have something about this.
Shout out Mariam.
Shout out to Mariam.
See you soon.
Every time I have something and I'm thinking about God, and I'm thinking about something that I'm really confused with, or what do I do, she's always there, and she's just pray to God, and even if it doesn't come, then it's what's written for you, and something better is gonna come. That's what she always reminds me of.
Oh, thank you. And thank you to that shout out to Mariam. She's gonna be so happy. I hope so. Mariam, that was for you. So yeah, Nuria, if you would like to just touch upon how you feel like your relationship with God is.
I think with me, it's I would say my relationship with Allah is never really always strong. It always goes up and down, and I feel like that's normal. Like, your deen will fluctuate. There'll be times where, let's say, you go through like certain events in your life and you feel so close, and like you feel that iman boost. Then there's times where you feel a bit distant, and it's like, let's be real, sometimes it is hard to pray. It's so hard to pray sometimes. Like, let's say mentally, if you're feeling down, it's even harder to like drag yourself out of bed, do your wudu, go pray. But just remember, in those moments you still get so much reward. And even though you're struggling, Allah knows you're struggling. Like, He sees you struggling. It's not a punishment. And sometimes in your lowest moments is when you feel closer to Him. Like, sometimes you need those dips to actually be like, oh my God, and to feel like the goodness from Allah. And I think sometimes when you just really think about it, based off what you all said, you see and you feel the miracles in your life. Like, when you reflect back, it's like, oh my God, I am where I am now because Allah has carried me through.
Yeah, I think what point you made there is really good, that when you get that struggle, especially say for example praying Fajr in the morning,
oh my God,
when you're
guilty.
having a deep sleep. But let me put it like this, you can put your alarm on for many other things, right? So many other things we put our alarms on. Gym, for example. Work, get morning jog. It could be anything, or I don't know, the airport, guys. The airport sometimes.
Or literally not missing your flight because you want to go off to Cyprus or whatnot.
But we don't do it to pray in the morning, or maybe we do. I'm so good if you do, but I'm trying to say. And also, I think for me, with significant events, like you mentioned, if I have an exam that day, I'm waking up for Fajr on time, right? And it's like, hold on, so you did it that day for when you needed God on that day, but you need God every day, like. And also, like, if you're doing that consistently, then you might not have, like, you know what I mean, like, it will pay off in the bigger picture. Maybe there's something down the line that you don't know, and you're like, oh my gosh, God saved me in that moment. That is why. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you also mentioned Dean fluctuating. I mean, what do you think? Like, is there anything that anyone can do about that?
I think like reaffirming to yourself that Allah still loves you, even when you are going through low, even when you feel low. Don't ever think or try not to ever forget like that God doesn't love you, because it's so normal to have lows. No one is perfect, and let's be real, we all have our lows. So just always reminding yourself that it's not a punishment, it's just a phase. Think of it like a phase, like just like Sonia said in the first half, riding out the wave.
Yes,
and you can
get out of that wave if you need to try, right? Yeah,
exactly. Just keep trying, keep doing what you can. And I think everyone also has different spiritual personalities. So what makes, let's say, you guys feel close to God might be doing extra prayers. For me, it might be journaling about God, or like doing more dua. So try to figure out what your spiritual personality is. I think that's a really
I like that word, spiritual personality, or that phrase. That's a really good one.
It's cool.
Because we have different personalities, and we have different spiritual personalities. That is really good. Thank you. And I want to also touch, but you mentioned that obviously God will see your struggle and appreciate that. So even if that one day you didn't do what you aimed to do, that struggle was seen, appreciated, your intention was there, you know. So that was really good. Thank you, Niria.
I just want to say something really quickly before Eliza, that intentions and rewards are so important. And as we all saying, you know, you have to try every step. Even if you go to sleep thinking, I'm going to pray Fajr tomorrow, that still counts as a reward. The fact that you're thinking about it, that you have the intention to do it. And we all heard this, that every step to prayer is like such a big reward as well. So just having the intention to do it, you will eventually do it. And that's what I used to do with my Fajr prayer. So obviously in the morning, we all said, you know, we get so sleepy and everything, but every single night I used to be like, you know, I want to wake up for Fajr really bad. And I did it for 3 days, and then I just randomly one day I just woke up without any alarm or anything.
That's amazing.
That's one of the miracles that you're like, wow, you know.
Yeah.
That was God speaking to you.
That was God speaking
and rewarding you.
Yeah. And for your own benefit. Like, it was all for you in the end of the day.
I think because he saw me trying, I put my prayer mat in the corner of my bed. So whenever I'm like,
it's like a motivation, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Farina, I just love that story so much. Like, it started in your head, like, right? Manifestation, as people say. It's all real. It's all very real. So it started in your head, but you took little steps. Like you said, you put your prayer mat in the corner of your bed. You had that intention for 2-3 days, and then it just happened.
I like that you didn't overwhelm yourself, and that you didn't like beat yourself up about it.
It's really important. Little steps always go a long way, and with little things this comes up.
That's it. Beautiful. Eliza.
Yes.
Hello. Oh, guys, this is my first time hosting a show with Eliza, and it's been such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Sonia.
Really nice. I want to ask, do you feel like you have a good relationship with God, or just what is the relationship that you have?
I feel like, speak like what the rest of you guys said, it does fluctuate a lot. I think some moments we do have our highs and we have our lows, and I think I tend to forget when we do have the highs to appreciate God, and because we get all of this because of him. Even doing this podcast is because of him. Getting a new job, going to university, like all of these opportunities, they come from God. And I think we tend to forget that, but then when we're suffering, we're like, why are we in this position? Why are we like sad or depressed or lonely?
You mentioned as well in the first half that you were feeling unwell for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you said, I appreciate my health now. So do you think that kind
100%.
of also links into the same thing?
Yeah, like you said, when you're unwell, you do think of God, like, please get me out of this situation, get me out of this. But then you do take your health for granted, and you just sometimes forget, like, it's such a big thing.
Yeah, I think that was a really good point. Thank you for that. I think we all resonate with that, and I do. So, like, even if I was to address that question at myself, I would say a similar thing. Like, we often forget, and then when you do remember, you're kind of like, why did I ever let this go? Why did I ever forget how good this is for me, and so on. But
we get so busy with life that we forgot that this life is because of him.
Yeah, and everything you do get is because of God as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Another thing I just wanted to on answering that question, do I feel like I have what kind of relationship we have with God, is actually one of my friends, and she's actually a non-Muslim friend of mine. So she doesn't believe, obviously, in the same way we do, because we're Muslims. But it was one day, I can't remember, I think I was scared just to walk home by myself or something like that. Yeah,
Aww.
I know, really cute. And I think I was on the phone.
Baby Sonia.
Listen, Eliza, you never know, okay?
No, 100%.
Well, I wasn't really scared, but you know when you're lonely on your walk home and it's dark.
And it's dark
so on.
and it's,
So I called her and so on, and she basically said, in her words, because it was according to her God as well, she basically said, why would I ever be scared when God is right behind me every step of the way?
Like
Yeah. And she was talking about herself, she wasn't even talking about me. And she was like, she basically said, in a way, she was like, God is in front of me, behind me, beside me, everywhere,
all
watching
around
over me. Exactly. That's
all
exactly
the
what she
time.
said. And I was like, wow. And she's a completely different religion as well. And I was like, for her to say that, it kind of reminded me as well. I was like, we know Ayatul Kursi, you know, we know our prayers, our du'as, our surahs. And I was like, true, actually, when you're armed with that, why should you ever have to worry or be scared when you have that strong faith, I would say. So not just about relationships, just that faith and strength and belief.
Yeah.
So
Like the little things.
So true.
Yeah.
That's so true, because there's been so many times where I've been walking by myself, or like it's dark, whatever, and I read the Ayatul Kursi, and literally, like, I get like this wave of feeling protected.
Yeah.
Like, I feel so much more protected when
That's
I do my
really
prayers.
good. Yeah.
Coming off one of your point, I'm going to tell like a funny story.
Go on, Elisa.
So this past summer, I went to Barcelona with my friends. It was like a little girls' trip for a couple of days because we finished uni and graduated. And we were hungry, and it was a bit late at night. So, but where our hotel was, there was a Burger King literally a minute walk. So we went there, and then like on the way back, this woman like randomly came out of nowhere. I think she was drunk or something, but she started screaming into the wall, and like it was like she was looking at me and my friends, but she was screaming, but she wasn't talking to us, and I don't know who she was talking to. That is quite
scary.
But it was very intense. And then, like you guys said, we just started reciting out of nowhere, just to get back into the hotel.
Do you know how nice that is, that you're even in another country, that all of you
Still
just
remember.
had that. You remember God.
Yeah. And it kind of makes you feel a bit
But
safer.
did you guys feel safer when you did
Yeah,
that?
100%.
Oh, that's so nice to hear, and so good. See, God is always watching you and always protecting you.
100%.
Thank you guys so much. That was kind of the first question, but we did touch on most of the topic anyway. We spoke a little bit about what ways you feel like you can get closer to God. Anyone else have any other points on that, Fareed? Maybe what other ways, if you do feel like you're lacking, or not even if you're not lacking, but you just want to be closer, what other ways can we kind of...
You know, I think there's so many ways you connect with God individually. So that's waking up for Fajr, you're waking up this. But doing things and for other people, it also, I feel like in a way connects you with God, because you do get the reward, and you are, you know, a good person in the eyes of Allah. So for example, me helping, I don't know, my little brother pray, or bringing him with me to pray. I feel like that's a way to connect with God, because I'm praying, but he's praying, listening to what I'm saying. So that's one way that I connect with him. So just doing little things and being literally just nice, and doing little things that, you know, even you get the reward, but not thinking of the reward, thinking I'm doing a good thing and I'm just a good person. You just feel good with yourself, and then God feels good with you as well for the stuff that you're doing.
That's really nice. Thank you. Anybody have any comments on that?
I think, you know, when we sin, I think sometimes we think we've sinned too much, that we're quite far away from God. And then that whole question of like, will God forgive me? Will God hate me? Stuff like that. I think that tends to come up a lot. But I think we always need to remember, no matter what we do, we can always go back. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think
we can always go back.
Right.
Like, no sin is big enough for us not to repent and always be better. Like, if we missed Fajr once, we can do it again. There's always tomorrow. And because God has given us another day, it's like another chance to always repent and always go back before we don't get that chance.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think you're absolutely right, 100%. No matter how far you personally feel like you may have strayed, it doesn't matter. You have that chance. You can always go back. And Nuvia mentioned earlier as well, just remember that God loves you. But yeah, I think even what you were saying, that you have that chance every day. I think this is going to be so cliche. It really is what I'm about to say. But you know, the past is the past, the future is the future. The present is called present because every day is a gift.
Oh yeah,
Do you
know what?
It's a gift from God.
Kung Fu Panda.
Oh wow.
I've seen it. I don't know where it comes from.
Where it comes from, Allah. Okay. Yeah. So every day it really is, and it's another chance for you. The fact that you're still here on earth, that's your chance again to make God happy, to make yourself happy, and to build 100%. That relationship. Fareen, which question would you like me to explore now? Because this is Fareen's plan, just to put out there.
Yeah, I think this topic is really good because all of us, like I said, individually, we connect with. There's different ways that we connect with everyone. So, like you said, you know, we were talking about negative self-talk, which I think is really important to touch upon. Like you said, why does God hate me? Why doesn't he forgive me? At the end of the day, we're all sinners. We sin so many times. We sin so many times a day. But the thing is just repenting, which is the most important thing. So that kind of mindset is not what we should have. And it's really something that we have to work towards.
Yeah. Oh, and I think we forget that it's normal to sin. Like, I heard something, and I don't quote me on this, but God put us on this earth to sin. He gave us free will to sin and to always go back and like be close to him and repent, and that's how we develop a good relationship with God. But like, he also created angels, and angels don't have the ability to do them. So if he didn't want us to sin and go back to him, he would have created us like he created angels without free will. So I always remind myself when stuff does go too far that this is okay, but there's always a way back.
You need to repent. There's a way back. I think you made a good point, because it's like, you know, it's gonna happen. And if it happens, just remember, like you said, God is aware. God knows that it's going to happen. God knows that you were going to do that almost. But it's up to you what you do afterwards. So make that repent, ask for forgiveness, and make the right decision next time. You know, do not do that.
You learn from your mistakes. Exactly. And sometimes I think we forget that we're allowed to make mistakes.
I think, you know, but all of us here, we're really lucky because we are young.
You are young, Sonia.
But yeah, no, and talking about this here now, and just making these conscious efforts and having these thought processes, it's amazing. And you always have to think, will God be pleased with that? God will be pleased with this, because we're so young and we're thinking about it. Because often when people get older, that's natural. You get closer to death. I hate to say that, but I mean, we could die at any time, right? Exactly. It is true. But when you're young, you know, there's so much going on. Everything's exciting in this world, so you often forget. But just having these thoughts now, that's amazing in itself. Like, just having these thought processes, thinking what I can do to strengthen my relationship. Inshallah, that means, you know, more success and happiness for you in the future.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. And the important thing is to not compare yourself. I think we always talk about it and we always touch upon this, but everyone that you see is not. It's just you don't know who that real person is. You don't know the way that they are connecting with God, what they're doing, and they could be sinning, but obviously you don't know. Nobody ever exposes their sins. But just looking at them, maybe you get some inspiration. But just hold yourself accountable, and you don't have to tell everyone this. You can obviously, you know, share your thoughts with everyone, but holding yourself accountable of those mistakes, and again, repenting is really important. And with the negative self-talk, I just want to say that when you really feel down with yourself, or when you're feeling really not confident, in God's eyes, you're perfect because He's the one that made you. So I think that's just really important to not. It's really hard to do, especially when you're like a teenager. I feel like you just fill your head with negative thinking and negative thoughts about you, but you really have to remember why you're here, and you are there because, you know, He made you like that.
Put you in this earth. Yes. So Nuria, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, based off what Fareen said, everyone's fighting like a silent battle that you don't know about. And I think 100%. Also, just if you can, like, I don't know, give someone a compliment for the day. Try to do one little good deed per day. And also, you're talking about negative self-talk. I feel like how you talk about yourself is how others will view you. So, as we all know, like, when we make a mistake, sometimes we kind of belittle and chastise ourselves. We're like, oh my God, you're so silly, whatever. But I think if you start saying to yourself, okay, do you know what, I made this mistake. Yeah, it might not have been the best choice, but it's okay, because like Elisa said, we're humans and Allah brings us closer to him through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, to
Then-
kind of yes.
Yeah, then you get that confidence to bounce back even harder.
Yeah, I agree. I completely lost my train of thought because I interrupted you. Sorry. I was gonna say about, you know how everyone is fighting a silent battle. I think is prejudice.
Prejudice
Yeah.
is the word,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
judging someone before you even know them, I feel like it's such a big thing, and we have to stop doing that. It's obviously a human thing. It's so natural to do, but you know, I used to do it before a lot, and it just brings. So when I get to know them, I'm like, wow. Don't you say like when you're with your best friend or something, you're like, I really hated you when I first met you, but
All
then
the time.
it's all the time, and it's this thinking that you might think so this person is, wow, he's really religious, so because I'm moderate religious, then I'm not going to go with them. But you don't know that you can learn something from them,
Yes.
and they can learn something from you as well. So I think it's really important to, like you said, everyone's fighting the silent battle, and we have to really be patient with everyone.
Yes, thank you so much. I think you gave some good examples there as well. Like, it all kind of goes back to, it's your relationship with God, your own personal relationship. So do not worry about someone else's relationship with God at all. Like, whatever sins they may be doing, whatever amazing things they may be doing, you just can't compare yourself, because you're on a completely different journey. And again, that brings me back to Nuria's amazing phrase that we learned today, which was spiritual personality. So you have your spiritual personality, you have your own relationship with God as well. So just work on it yourself. You can only hold yourself accountable at the end of the day. You can't hold anyone else accountable. So again, I'm glad you brought up the self-hate talk, I think we said. Well, let's have that self-love talk.
Yes, 100%.
You need that.
And I think all of us here as well, we're at an age where you can do your own research and know what you need to do, what's right and what's wrong, what you need to do to increase your iman and your deen and that relationship as well.
Yeah, I just want to quickly say that when you improve your iman and your deen, it really reflects on your character, and you are going to feel and you are going to show yourself as a more, just literally a nice person, and you are going to see really a change in your behavior and how in your character and how you talk with everyone.
It's so lovely. We've got 5 seconds left, so we are going to wrap it up. Please do join us again next week on Sister Speak. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Why not tune in to our live stream at inspirefm.org and follow and subscribe to our social media platforms at Inspire FM Luton.